Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Muscatine High School. We're in the Muscatine Gymnasium. I am Joel Kraushaar on the Discover Muscatine Sports Network. It is Fall Activities Kickoff Night here at Muscatine High School, presented by Muscatine Power and Water and Pearl City Media. Big night for us here. It's the annual kickoff event. It's the booster kickoff as well. A fantastic booster supper being served here at the Muscatine High School Gymnasium in the Commons area. And this evening we will have coaches and leaders of multiple activities throughout our high school events. And we're looking forward to hearing from coaches as we kick off this 2021-2022 school activities season. It's always an adventure the last several years with activities. One of the people who guide us all in our community through these activities and the multiple schedule changes that seem to always pop up, as well as some of the really impressive projects that are happening here around our community, is Muscatine Activities Director Tom Olsis. We said briefly, Tom, before we went on air, year 3, as you commented, zero normal years. Correct. But this is year 3 here in Muscatine for you and your family. Lots going on here in this building under your leadership this year.
Yeah, lots of exciting things. We're, as most people I think know, the stadium renovation project has been a huge undertaking, and it's nearing completion. We think we're going to make it in time for the beginning of the season, so that will be amazing for our fans that come out, and that's kind of led to why we're in a different venue for our fall kickoff this year.
Yeah, so we usually do this event outside on the track and then on the football field, but as you mentioned, a major renovation. I just saw a picture before we came on air of the turf. It's laid out. They're doing the finishing touches on that. The new press box is in place. I'm very excited about that. The new bleachers are in place as well. So a much-needed renovation. I believe I was not born when that previous stadium had been completed. It was done about 3 months before I was born in Muscatine Hospital. So it's a much-needed thing and a huge thing, not just for the football program, but the track athletes are getting a new track. Physical education is getting a state-of-the-art facility, and we're excited. We're going to talk to Jeff Hyde, the marching band director, as well later on. A huge thing for the marching band as well.
Yeah, I know. Once we cleared the facility scheduler, Mr. Hyde put his reservations in for his morning practices like that, I think it was. So they plan on practicing almost every morning during their marching band season. And then we'll be hosting our annual marching band invite again this year out at the stadium. So a new surface for the marching bands, and we won't have to be crossing our fingers hoping that it's not raining or ruining the field, So weather, that's always been very weather dependent. So now we're blessed to be able to have an artificial surface.
You've had a busy season as well as far as just hiring new coaches. We have several new coaches in the stable leading our youngsters here in town. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know Scott Roberts, the girls cross country coach, I believe this is his first year.
This actually is year 3 for Scott doing cross country.
It's not been a normal year for you. It hasn't been a normal year for me either. I haven't been able to sit in on some of those interviews, or some of those acquisitions. Yeah,
and last year we really didn't have the same looking fall kickoff with doing a broadcast like this. Right. So Scott had started a couple years ago, but our winter head coaching staff, we've Luke Torelli is our new head boys coach. John McBride is taking over the girls program, and Scott Mock will be doing head wrestling this year. So the head coaches in the winter season will be vastly different than we've had the last several years. So
yeah, it's been a busy summer for you in that regard as well. Also activities. It's not just athletics that you oversee. The new orchestra facilities as well. I saw some pictures. It was not just athletic renovations that we've seen in this building. It's been in the arts program as well.
Yep, our fine arts area where our band, chorus, and orchestra have their classroom space. We renovated an area back behind where they normally were, classrooms and space, and it looks completely different than it did before, and it's going to be a great added practice area for our students in our program. So they're really looking forward to that too.
And I know this evening is a kickoff not just to showcase the students and their activities. It's also to kind of kick off booster participation, the Muskie Booster Club. I know that's an organization you work very closely with, and it's so vital to our community.
Yeah, but our Muskie Booster program had a hard year last year just because they weren't able to do their usual fundraising that they do to support the program. So we're kind of trying to restart and get them up and going again, and looking forward to normal capacity for crowds so their concession sales can be back to normal. But we're also kicked off tonight our new, it used to exist and then it went away for a while. Now it's back, our Muskie Booster membership program. So there's different membership levels that people can join. There's different perks once you join, from some different game passes to game jerseys that used to exist, Muskie flags, different things that hopefully we can have a lot of people involved and join the Booster Club.
Yeah, it's a big night. If you can't make it out here to join to get your pledge signed up for the Booster Club, you can go on their social media. I was just talking to Miss Randall out in the lobby there. She was saying they have Venmo, PayPal. There's lots of ways to participate and support the Muskie Booster Club. But if you're watching this and you're like, man, I still have no plans for tonight, there's plenty of opportunities to come on out, support the Muskie Booster Club with a fantastic supper, and check out what's going on here at this facility. We're at the high school. Again, you can come in. The Cedar Street entrance is one of the easier ways to get into the campus right now. So great projects going on. We're all excited to see the new stadium project be finally completed, as well as just all the other exciting things going on at the school. Tom Olsis, Muscatine Activities Director, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Joel. Yep. Thank you, Discover Muscatine, too, for being here.
No problem. That was Tom Olsis here. We're going to take a little quick break here, as Muskie Sports and the fall activities kickoff is brought to you by First National Bank of Muscatine, Bear of Muscatine, Affordable Metal Manufacturing, Muscatine Lawn and Power, Muscatine Community Y, Studio 180, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Riots and Rebels Salon, Bickford Assisted Living and Memory Care, and Eastern Iowa Power Washers. After these teams are announced, we will have boys cross country coach Chris Foxen. We're expecting to have him be one of our first guests, as well as Scott Roberts here with girls cross country, a surprise guest taking his seat at the table.
Hello.
Now, a voice that many of us are familiar with, the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for Muscatine Community School District, my former radio partner, Tony Tone, Anthony Lokensole, joining us.
Hi, Joel. Hey, everybody. Sorry, I just realized I had all this stuff in my hands as I was sitting down.
Well, you're a busy guy. You've been now going from facility to facility. I know you've already been to Susan Clark Middle School today.
It's been a really good evening so far. We definitely are having a lot of fun. Susan Clark Junior High has a back-to-school kickoff event.
I still have to get in the habit of saying junior high.
I know.
Sorry. I wanted to say middle school.
It's such a big school. I'd never been in that building before until I started with the district in September, and it's great. They were doing a great job, Joel. They were getting in the 7th and 8th graders. They were coming in, getting their schedules, their lockers, a map of the building, and then they kind of went on their way. They were able to sign up for a variety of activities and athletics, and it was just really great to see all of our 7th and 8th grade students, and for a lot of those, obviously for those 7th graders, it's a big transition going from the elementary school into junior high. But their team, it was really obviously Principal Chris Nienhaus and Assistant Principal Jen Fridley, but it was really their teachers and their staff. Everybody worked so well together. They were all there. They were greeting the families, greeting the students. So that's great. And then we're here at the high school. Obviously, the fall sports kickoff is going on behind us. And then what was also happening tonight at the high school was kind of their version of Muskie Connect for 9th through 12th grade students and their families to talk about the start of the school year, and then all the things that we're working on as far as a portrait of a Muskie graduate. And basically the overall goal, Joel, is to ensure that all Muscatine high school students, whatever they want to do after high school, we graduate them and we help get them there. That's the goal. The ultimate goal is to set these students up for success, regardless of what they want to do.
Yeah, it's such a vital part of the high school experience is that tracking is the wrong word, but just finding I remember having to take an inventory of likes and dislikes, and that kind of helped track academically
Foxen
through it. Yeah, he's going to be the next guest following you.
I feel like he's going to do a much better job than I am, and he's got a lot more to talk about. Well, I'll go quick. I just want to say, everybody that's watching, thank you for checking this out. Thanks to Discover Muscatine and Pearl City Media for making this happen. And we are really excited about starting the school year next week. We've got new Muskie Day on Monday the 23rd, so that'll be the first day for 7th graders and 9th graders. It's a half day, so early out. Tuesday, we'll have 7th and 8th full day, and then 9 through 12 here at the high school full day. And then the first day for elementary students will be on Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday of next week, elementary students going to be doing class visits. We're calling it Muskie Connect. They're going to meet their teacher one-on-one for 30 minutes. It's a really good idea. I can say that as the parent of 2 elementary students. We're very excited to meet our children's teachers at McKinley Elementary. Shout out to them. And to get things underway. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. It is a busy time of year. I told Joel that everybody kept telling me that August is busy, and they were 100% right. So thank you for letting me jump on for a second.
Appreciate it.
And this is great. It feels good. It really feels good. It's so nice to see people, and I'm glad that the weather's cooperating. Yes. And the last thing that I'll say is please check out Muscatine Community School District on social media. Took some pictures and videos of the MHS Stadium renovation project. It's looking really good. Excited for everybody to see that with football starting very soon. And, I hope you have a good rest of your evening. It's going to be busy for you too, my friend.
Yes, we're back at it.
Yeah.
And we'll be joined shortly here by Chris Foxen, the boys cross-country coach. Again, our format for this evening is we will be bringing on coaches after their teams are introduced, getting a quick little car wash interview with all these coaches, talking a little bit about their student athletes and their programs and what the fall brings for them. And that brings us our first guest, Chris Foxen, whom I just saw last night at back-to-school night for our kids' school. And, Chris, how many years now have you been the head cross-country coach?
Yeah, I'm starting to lose track. So I think I started in 2009, so I'll have to do the math.
That's 11 years?
Yeah, 11.
No, it's 2021. Man, all of our school math teachers are ashamed of me right now.
Well, it's a lot of years, so yeah. I've been doing it a while, and I've learned a lot. And I tell you what, each year is kind of different depending on the team and the mixture and the chemistry and stuff. And I love it, and I'm really glad to have the opportunity to coach every year.
Let's talk a little bit about your team this year. I know you have 2 strong senior leaders on your team.
Yeah, so we have really good leadership from Aiden Armstrong and Sam Gordon. They're seniors on the team, and they also run track and field, which enhances their running, obviously, and they're committed year-round. They're in the strength and conditioning program with Coach Hawkins, and you can really see it by the time they're a senior, because especially for young men, when they come in as freshmen, they're very similar to a 6th grader rather than a senior.
Sure.
And so when they go from freshman year to junior year, they go through so many just changes with hormones and stuff like that. And now when the finished product is rolling off the assembly line, so to speak, it's really fun to be part of that as a coach, and they deserve all the credit. Aiden and Sam do. They're setting a great example. They got through some really hard workouts, and the freshman kids are just like, how did you do that? Like they were like some type of Avenger or something. And Aiden and Sam is just like, one of the themes we have is you eat an elephant one bite at a time,
right?
One day at a time. And so we try to teach them like it's a process, and they made it a part of their day for the last couple years, and this is where they get.
Well, I know that's something too. I mean, I see your guys out running as I'm driving to work. I live nearby the school here, and it seems like that takes a special culture when you have that many kids showing up morning after morning in the summertime in the heat.
Yep.
How did you build that culture? I'm sure it was just like eating the elephant, one bite at a time.
Yeah, when I first started, it was sometimes tough because only 2 or 3 guys would come, and because we start in June and it's totally voluntary. There's no attendance taken or anything. But I try to do. I've done some vertical teams, which I kind of stole the idea from Coach Mueller, who's moved on to Cedar Falls. I do vertical team challenges where I put them in teams and they run miles, and that counts for points, and attendance counts for points. And then we do funny things on Friday, like we have water fights, and you get points for bringing water balloons and bringing water guns, and we do things who can wear the most purple and gold on a Friday. And the other thing that I do also is we go to Rocky Mountain National Park. We go every other year, and COVID really put a wrench in that, but we did get it in this year.
Nice.
And we took 6 kids out there and trained. We ran all over the park. We ran, combined hiking and running, we did 74.4 miles in 5 days.
At altitude.
So we slept at 8,000 feet.
Wow. So you're camping on this trip?
Well,
or is it cabins?
Cabins. Yeah, cabins. It's at the YMCA of the Rockies.
Okay.
It's right outside Estes Park, and then Rocky Mountain National Park's right next door. We can actually run into Rocky Mountain National Park from the Y.
It's such a fantastic experience for the kids, too. That's the sort of thing they'll remember forever.
Yeah, well, we talked about that, and the kids decided that they really bought into my 2 types of fun. There's one type of fun which is like roller coasters and, like getting your favorite ice cream. And the second type of fun is when you do something really difficult, but then you look back on it and you realize like that was living. That was exciting. And this was the second type of fun because it rained all the first day.
Oh, wow.
Like not lightning or bad storms, it just rained. Cold mountain rain. And so a lot of them kind of wondered what they got themselves into. But by the end of the trip, they loved it. They really bought in. And you can really see it in the running now. I would mention Shiloh Mortar, who went out there very kind of inexperienced with what we were going to do, but by the time he left and came back, he has a lot more confidence in his running.
Yeah, and there's a shared experience now that you can use to anchor later on in the season too.
Absolutely, and a lot of the challenging courses that we're going to go to, like this year, won't be as challenging to these young men because they've run up, like we did a 6-mile run that changed 1,500 feet of elevation over 6 miles.
Wow.
And it was really difficult. So like there's really nothing you can throw at them here in Iowa that's really going to do that.
Yeah, a hilly hole on a golf course isn't really going to be the same experience.
No, it's not.
Well, Chris Foxen, boys cross country coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck this season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris Foxen, boys cross country coach, always fun to talk to. Really a culture that's been created, and we're going to hand it off here now to girls cross country coach Scott Roberts, who's joining us. Coach, Joel Kraushaar, we've not officially met yet, and I apologize for that. I naively thought this was year 1 for you, but it's year 3. Tom Olson just notified me, and I was doing some research for the interview. People in the community may not know you're a 24-year Division I high NAIA, high Division I college veteran coach who grew up in Muscatine and found his way back home. How exciting is it for you to bring that wide breadth of knowledge from across the country back to your hometown?
Well, it's tremendously exciting to be back in my hometown and representing the place that I grew up. And I do think that having those experiences has been a good thing for the kids that we're working with, and just, from there's not a whole lot of things I haven't seen, so that's kind of a good thing.
Well, I know you've worked with Olympians. I have a college teammate, A.G. Kruger, who's the throwing coach at USD. He's a 3-time Olympian. And just being around him as a young freshman on a football team, watching him work, do you have any of those valued senior leaders on your team or upperclassmen who are really kind of showing the underclassmen the way?
Yes, and I'm very excited about this group of young ladies that we have this year. I think every year, we've kind of, this being the 3rd year, we've kind of put more of the culture that we're trying to put in, and I think that the girls are really starting to buy into things, and we've got a really good group of seniors and juniors and a lot of younger kids too. It's a bigger group than we've had in the past. We're trying to grow the program. So, who
are some of the runners that we should kind of keep our eyes on this fall?
Okay, we have our number 1 and number 2 are back from last year. Carly Ricketts is a senior. And then we have Taya Melendez, who is a junior, and both of them we think have the potential to run, under 20 minutes, which would be, state qualifying kind of a thing. So we're excited about that. We've got some younger kids, Abby Yawn and Kiera Hallett and some others that are really coming on as sophomores and freshmen as well. So
you mentioned you're trying to grow the program. What are some ways you're I was a football player. I didn't do any endurance sort of sport growing up. Like how do you maybe recruit that athlete who's looking for a place who may want to try running and find cross country?
Well, the thing about cross country is it's a it's an individual sport, yet it's got a real team component to it. Probably even more so than track and field does, as far as because everybody's running the same event and that kind of a thing. So I think that there's a spot for everybody as far as that goes. They have the opportunity to, possibly earn a varsity letter. They have the opportunity to compete in all the races. It's not like a football or whatever where you might be stuck on the bench for long stretches of time.
Well, I'll ask you too, like, watching, some of the marathon in the Olympics this past just a few weeks ago, watching how there's actual team maneuvers. Is that something you're able to kind of coach some of that team strategy?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
As you get into these bigger meets?
Yeah, definitely. We try to teach them to, kind of run together, run under control, and, in cross country, the lower score you have, the better. So that means if we want to keep our people close together as much as we can, so that we're not scoring tons of points. Well,
it's such a great tradition. Muscatine's in cross country and track and field, a rich tradition of runners, especially on the girls' side. You have multi-sport athletes. You mentioned Carly Ricketts, who was on that outstanding softball team this past summer. It's a tradition. I'm happy to see someone with your passion for it, with their hands in it, and it's exciting to kind of see. I mentioned to Coach Foxen, I live around here. So seeing these kids up early in the morning, out running and running as a group, it's a really enjoyable thing for me to see it. I know it's noticeable when the energy that's around this campus in August, and it's impressive.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, Coach definitely. Scott Roberts, girls cross country coach, we're so happy to have you. And folks, you got to check this guy out. So you've coached 4 Olympians. You've coached at Iowa State, University of Alabama, Drake University. You've really been all over the world with the track and field and cross country.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and met a lot of wonderful people along the way. So
yeah, I know. I've gone to the Drake relays several times. I don't know. Many Iowans know it happens. They may not have attended that event. Yeah. It's something you got to do in the spring.
That should be on your bucket list for sure. That's one of the few things that you're going to leave inspired when you go to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Again, Coach Scott Roberts, our head girls cross country coach. Thanks so much for joining us today. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Scott Roberts, great person to talk to. They probably should try to get me out running. That's probably a bad idea, though, with my old football knees. Again, our 2021 Muskie Sports sponsor list, and bringing you this Muscatine activities calendar and fall sports activities kickoff here. Our fine sponsors are Muscatine Power and Water, First National Bank of Muscatine, Bear of Muscatine, Affordable Metal Manufacturing, Muscatine Lawn and Power, Muscatine Community Y, Studio 180, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Riots and Rebels Salon, and Bickford Assisted Living and Memory Care. We are just waiting for our next guests to join us. And so
I think you're going to get a all-school fight song.
Oh,
and then you're going to have a couple more coaches, Joel. So, yeah.
That is good.
This is great.
You can kind of hop in and be a little co-host action. We've done that before.
Yeah,
I think we can handle it.
We're no stranger to that. Yeah, no, this is good. I'm behind the scenes just sharing stuff out on social media, and it's great. A lot of people, I just saw an awesome tweet from a Muskie graduate, an alumni, that said, my high school looks really good. And I was like, I just replied to the tweet and I said, yeah, we're really proud of how it's looking, and I think when it's completed, everybody's going to be really happy with it.
I'm one of those as well. I'm a class of 2000 graduate here of Muscatine, and just it's so fun. You've known me for a long time. I'm a progressive person, and the fact that we are investing in huge gifts from the Carver Charitable Trust and other members of the community to make this football stadium project happen. The new scoreboard's coming towards the end of the fall, which is a key component to this project. In my role as the play-by-play voice of the Muskies, been able to travel around and go to a lot of stadiums when we go on the road.
Sure.
And we're now getting to the level that we quite honestly visit. Yeah. And so it's important for us. And for companies in town as they're trying to attract new employees and new families to come lay roots in Muscatine, much like my parents did in 1981.
Right.
This is one of the ways you do that. You improve your facilities. You improve the educational experience. We did that with the STEM wing in recent history. We're seeing it in the fine arts wing too, improving those facilities, and it's all a part of investing in the kids. It's really what it is.
Yeah, I think we're both parents. Both of us will soon have kids of our own enrolled in high school.
I'm a little bit closer than you are. I realized that the other day.
And I think if you look at what the district has done, to your point, Joel, that investment is there, and it's going to continue to be there. The fine arts renovations for the orchestra and the choir program, it's a testament to the fact that at the state level, Muscatine High School has we were number one, or we were close to one.
We're in the top 5 as far as largest orchestra programs in
and
the
that's
state.
Wonderful. So we want to be able, like I said earlier, we want to be able to support all students, whether it's athletics or activities. The thing that I love about that Portrait of a Muskie graduate program is if there's a student that is a freshman, let's just do a hypothetical situation. Say there's a student that's starting next week as a freshman, and they know what they want to do when they graduate high school. They want to be a welder, right?
Right.
Let's get that student on the path through the partnerships that we have with Muscatine Community College, so that when they graduate from Muscatine High School, they can have a welder's certificate and they can go right into a full-time job. So whether it is that welder, whether it's a 2-year school, 4-year school, other trades, whatever students want to do, we want to be able to get them there, and the investment is only going to continue back into these facilities. And I think that Scott Mock is going to come over maybe.
Nice.
And talk. I don't know. He's like talking to Chris. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to jump out again.
Sounds good.
This might be the last time you see me, everybody.
No, I appreciate you hopping in.
Thanks for doing this, and go Muskies. We're looking forward to a great year.
So as we wait for our next guest to join us, again, we couldn't do this without Pearl City Media. Chris Anderson squared tonight. Both Chris Andersons working hard to keep our broadcast going tonight, and I am now joined by, I just found out, which I'm a little offended that I just found out this
I know
way,
what's coming.
a new head varsity wrestling coach.
That is true.
Scott Mock.
Thank you.
We should let the listeners know you and I once coached the 8th grade football team together.
We did.
We go way back. I've worked with your wife many times in the drama department here.
Yep.
But your passion is really just working with kids.
Yes.
As one of our many school counselors in the district. Scott, you do so much, not just on an athletics level as a coach, but helping all of our students traverse through this journey of education.
I do my best. I look at the Krzyzewski.
You're being pretty modest.
Well,
You're
I look at the
outstanding
Krzyzewski approach of I consider myself a leader, and I use coaching as my venue to be a leader and do those things that help invest into the lives of the next generation, to help them become good people, not just great athletes, but good people.
Well, and Tony was just talking about the kind of the Connect program and the Portrait of a Muskie. You're involved with helping not just student athletes and people who participate in activities work their way through. I mean, you're with all of the students, in some way, shape, or form.
And a lot of the seniors right now, because of being the senior class counselor, I mean, I really am diving into making sure that I have 375 graduate, because that's what my class load is right now. So,
well, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, just because I know you can handle it. It's been crazy. There's been a lot of discussion about mental health with education, and not to get into all of the aspects of that, but what are some ways that Muscatine Community School District is helping these students through some of the trials and tribulations of the last 18, 20 months?
One of the things that I think is really making an impact, I mean, there's a lot of things, and I'm going to miss some things that are really important. We've really put our money where our mouth is on that. In that, here at the high school, we have 6 school counselors, and then another one that's a school counselor, but she also works with the community college and helping us there. So there's a lot of direct contact that we can have with students with those counselors, as well as we have full-time therapists that come into our building 3 to 4 days a week to meet with kids. That way it's not an impact moving them out of the school where they've got to find a ride to get to an office. We can find spots in their schedule that won't impact their education. They can come in and meet with a therapist. That's been a great thing. helping through Muskie Locker, all the donations the community gives us to help make sure kids get fed on the weekends, that they have clothes. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we have kids come in and go, I don't have shoes. And we're able to provide that stuff. And it's only through the vision of this school district as well as the community involvement. It's been outstanding.
Yeah, and it helps being visible. You know, you are the head wrestling coach now. You're also one of the football coaches as well. So, I mean, there's you encounter a lot of different – and for some reason or another, youngsters have a hard time going to that adult for help, and haven't seen someone on a frequent basis. That helps.
Yes.
And we appreciate you stopping by here tonight. I'm being produced here. I got to keep everything moving. We got lots of people going through.
You're all
like
good.
Your guys just went by. Scott Mock, huge fan. You know that.
Yep.
And I appreciate your time tonight. And that was really important. I didn't know that. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
All those things going
Thanks,
on.
Joel.
Scott Mock.
Look forward to seeing you on field sometime.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
So we're getting on to our next guest here. Nikki Sand, our Palm Squad coach. Yep. Yeah, you get to put the whole heads on. That way you can hear me.
I can.
Nice. Yeah, it's we're trying to. That way it'll be nice when the music kicks on. We can still hear one another. But Nikki Sand, the Palm Squad coach.
Mm-hmm.
Is this year one? Or have you,
this is my second year,
okay.
but it's actually my third go around. I've coached twice before.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was it? What's drawn you to that the Palm Squad? I call it the dance team. I know that's
that's exactly.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was on my own high school dance team. My mom was the coach of it. I was 2 weeks old at the very first practice, so it's kind of like born into it. It's just
absolutely.
what we do. So, and my daughter is currently on the team. So.
And it really is such a high. I have an 8-year-old daughter who loves to dance, and it's really impressive to watch the amount of work and athleticism that goes into the routines that you guys put together.
It's the cool thing about it is it's the combination of artistry and then also athleticism. So between the jumps and the leaps and the turns, and then the artistry and the movement and the creative choreography and things like that.
Well, and in the fall, we see a lot of the pregame performances, the halftime shows, and everything. But once you get into that winter season, that's when it's really your team's time to shine, and that's when the competition season begins.
So our gold squad, we have two squads. We have everybody's on purple in the fall, and then our gold squad will compete at a few area competitions and then our state competition. And last year was the first year that we've placed in the Palm Division in 11 years.
Wow.
So I'm really excited. We have a phenomenal choreographer, and the girls are pumped, and they're going to work hard, and we're going to try to see if we can get higher than 5th this year.
Now, last I knew, practice time was, because your athletes do other things too.
Right.
So are you guys still really early in the morning?
Yes, sir. 6:15 in the morning. So they go from about 6:15 right now till 8, and then when school starts, we'll stop about 7:40 so they can get ready and look pretty and all that kind of good stuff.
It's I didn't really know until I started coaching how many other pieces of the puzzle are going throughout this building, and it's nonstop starting about 6 o'clock in the morning.
It is crazy. It's just a buzz at 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night.
So you mentioned you have two squads. About how many girls do you have in your program?
Well, we actually have 26 girls and one guy.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, this is our first year ever for the program's well over 50 years old, but this is the first time we've ever had a guy on the team, so it's groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's absolutely, and it's an important thing to highlight.
Absolutely. Iowa and Iowa State both have boys on their teams this year for the first time as well, so that's exciting to just be part of a new era, a new trend.
Well, yeah, and our state's always been pretty progressive. We have last year they had the girls wrestling having their own division as well. So it's exciting to see that continue throughout our state, and exciting the Muscatine is one of the teams that's a part of that.
It is. It's a new challenge for me for sure. I mean, I've coached a long time, and it's always been girls, so I have had to change all my verbiage. Even we're Palm Squad, not Palm Girls. Right. That kind of thing. So it's good for all of us.
Yeah, and I'm looking for. I know that you guys just performed. I kind of had my back turned, so I didn't see. But again, such a huge, vital part of the whole Friday night experience is the cheerleading and the dance team. And happy to have you and your team working hard for us.
We're so excited about the new stadium and just hitting that field and that turf.
That's the thing. It's not just for the football team. It's so important for the band, the cheerleaders. It makes everyone, the dance team, it makes everyone's experience that much better.
My dad was an AD for years, and so I know how incredibly painstaking, carefully they take care care of the grass, right? So I'm very excited because I know no matter what we do, we can't hurt it.
Right. You don't have to worry about the rain. It'll still perform. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming. Nikki Sand, again, the Pom Squad dance team coach here at Muscatine. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
As we continue our evening, this is the 2021 Muskie Fall Activities Kickoff. I believe we've got head varsity football coach DJ Hawkins coming in to join us. Now, there's one of the coaches I know is comfortable having the headset on is Coach DJ Hawkins, head football coach here. Coach, second year 2 as the head man.
Year 2.
A new stadium.
And a new stadium, yeah. I'm like, shortened season last year, so I guess this is like really the real year 1 or whatever, full season, hopefully.
Last year was really kind of a funky year to take the reins with all of the challenges that were going on. Has this year been a little bit more normal? I know normal is not a word we throw around much anymore, but has it been a little bit more back to what you're used to?
Yeah, I'd say so. It was nice to be able to, work with kids all year, at the end of the last school year. We got to work with them and then rolled right in the summer, not having to wait until, July 7th or something last year. So to have that full off season, it has been nice, and just, getting to just worry more about football instead of some other things that we had to, deal with at the time, and how do we split guys up and this and that. So it's been nice.
Were you able to do camps and stuff this summer?
Yeah, we were actually able to. Last year there was no camps. We actually had the opportunity to go to St. Ambrose for 2 days, and just did a camp over there, scrimmage, Marion and Davenport West. So that was a huge advantage for the boys that we missed out on last year.
Yeah, I know Coach Magistrelli there at Ambrose puts on great. He runs a great program up there.
Yeah, it worked out really good. Like we had our camp here one night, then we went over there and scrimmage, came back, had our camp, went the next night. They did a great job. I mean, that's an awesome facility up there that they got.
And they're improving it.
They're improving them, yeah. The 2 turf fields they got were where we were at. We didn't even go over into the new stadium. So, yeah, it was awesome up there.
And last year, crazy year. This year, a little bit more normal. But 25 seniors graduate last year. So it's a whole different kind of look to your team. What are some things that we could be excited to see, next week up at Linn-Mar?
Well, yeah, losing 25 seniors, that was huge. Especially when, all 25 of them played. So we returned 2 starters, 3. One was a part-time starter. So losing them guys, up at Linn-Mar, we're excited. We got a smaller group this year. We're inexperienced, but excited to see them. It's their chance now. They've got to be the leaders. Those guys from last year, they're not here to lead and make plays and do whatever. So we'd be excited to see these guys, grow up and get to be out there on the field and grow into them leadership shoes and understand it's their team now. The other team is gone. So
you graduated with a lot of players, a lot of guys who touched the ball are now, a lot of them honestly are in Des Moines playing for Grandview University.
Yeah.
They had a boon with Muskies. Who are some, I know Kozad, one of the sophomores last year, he impressed at the sophomore level. Are some of those guys amped to make that jump to the varsity level?
Yeah, so last year, we had multiple, 4 different running backs rush over 100 yards. So Mason Crabtree's coming back. He started some games for us. And then Ty Kozad is going to be up there too. So we've got him. And then, with Nolan Recker, just how do we get those 3 guys the ball? And then all 3 bring something different to the backfield. So,
and I've been following Nolan's kind of summer, 6'5", 240-pound, big tight end frame, but he's all over the Ivy League, visiting. So clearly having that kind of, cerebral athlete on your team's got to be nice from a leadership role as well.
Oh, for sure. That guy, he's the smartest guy I know, I think.
Gets into MIT.
That's MIT scholarship or offer, and I don't even know if he talked to MIT. They're just like, hey, we want you. So, having him, he's not only a great player and smart, but he's the player that you want. Every single snap, he's giving you everything he's got. He's full speed all the time, even when it's hot out, and he's taking all the reps, on offense, and he's taking reps on defense. He's constantly, leading by example for sure.
We know the skill guys that we've moved on because those are the names that we see, the offensive and defensive lines both had some seniors last year as well. Who are some guys ready to step into those roles in the trenches for you?
So right now, our O-line wise, we've got Brock Garrison coming back. Brock's had a great offseason, and he's really stepping into the leadership role there, the O-line. As far as other guys, it's kind of different for Muscatine. We got a lot of dudes that are pretty big guys. I think Coach Rush has 10 guys that he's rotating in there on that O-line right now. And some of them guys are over on the defensive side. So, we got Brock. We're going to be on that O-line for sure. We're looking at Brock on the D-line also. D-line wise, Nate Beatty, senior coming back, played in there. Xander Dayton.
Wrestler. Nate's also one of the wrestlers in our program.
Yep, and then Nate's a wrestler too. And Xander Dayton, them guys there, on the O-line. So we're going to be young, so these now juniors with, Zach Stoltzfus and Abel Valenzuela, Sergio Becerra. Put me on the spot here. There's 10 guys that he rotates in there that are doing a really good job. Some are rotating more on offense than on the D-line, but a lot of guys are going back and forth. But it's just been nice to have a good number of linemen in order to rotate in there because, them guys take a beating every day at practice. They get tired. So the guys are getting a ton of experience, and hopefully, we're just keep moving guys different positions. We'll find that starting five that's going to mesh together, and then, them 3 D-line guys.
Yeah, that's a position very well, having been a former offensive lineman at Buena Vista University up in Northwest Iowa. Speaking of traveling, we're not having to go all the way to Storm Lake, but Iowa has changed football districts and classes. There's actually now a 5th class, Class 5A. Muscatine is in that largest class. We find ourselves going to Dubuque back-to-back weeks. How has that? Have you had to adjust how you prepare a little bit thinking about the schedule, or is it simply just, we'll play Cedar Falls, we're going to play 2 Dubuque schools, we just got to be prepared for it?
Yeah, it's like the schedule, when the schedules came out, we're like, man, who did we make mad? Because we didn't get a very favorable one, but it's exciting to see new teams on there that we haven't seen. It's always fun to go play somebody different. But right now our focus is, that week 1 is Linn-Mar. As inexperienced as we are, we want to see where we're at. So we're trying to go one game at a time. But after Linn-Mar, we get the PVs, the Bettendorfs, Iowa City West, Cedar Falls, the Dubuque 2 times. So to the guys, they're going to have to grow up and get that game speed experience in a hurry. Become varsity football players, but right now our focus is, we've been focused on going over to Linn-Mar or going over to Washington tomorrow and scrimmaging.
Right.
Because that's going to be a huge thing for us. The guys see a game speed. It's so hard to emulate a game speed in practice. So tomorrow night will be a good, we're getting close to game speed, and then, then we're just been talking about, that first game up at Linn-Mar on the road, and that's all we're kind of looking at right now.
Well, we're looking forward to being there. We'll be with you all season long.
Well, we appreciate the coverage, and we're excited to have a new stadium hopefully here week 2 and get it full of fans, not being limited on tickets. So,
Coach DJ Hawkins, year 2 as the head man, but lots of years experience here coaching at Muscatine. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
DJ Hawkins, head varsity football coach. Again, we will have that game for you next week as the Muskies travel to Linn-Mar to face off against the Lions in week 1. As we wait for our next coach, the legend himself, Judd Anderson, the Muskie swimming coach.
You don't realize how nasty this is.
Throw that headset on there so that you can hear me and then we can hear you. The varsity girls swimming coach, Judd Anderson, joining us here on the Discover Muscatine Sports Network. Judd, welcome.
Thanks, Joel.
Year 2, year 3?
This is the welcome is kind of an iffy deal on these things,
I know it's not your favorite thing to do, but we appreciate you.
You got that right.
You sitting down with us and chatting with us. The girls' season about ready to kick off here for you in the pool. What are some things we can be excited about for Muskie girls swimming this fall?
Well, we got about 40 girls participating.
That's great.
I'm not sure who that's exciting for or not, but it does create a few headaches when I think there's 6 brand new divers, and they'll take up 2 of the 6 lanes. So that means we got about 34 kids in 4 lanes, so it's going to be a little crowded.
Do you see a boost in numbers in Olympic years?
Definitely. This, I think that was not much more to do on TV than watch the Olympics. So and the Olympics did a great deal for competitive swimming because we got a lot of primetime stuff.
Yeah, it's I'm the parent of swimmers, so the fever was in our house as well.
The kids even know some of the names.
Yeah, it's remarkable. How has you've been involved in muskie swimming since the beginning? How in the Iowa Girls Athletic Union and kind of around the state, how has kind of girls swimming evolved over the years, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know. It hasn't evolved expansion-wise. To any great degree. I think, if anything, we're suffering a little bit of the combination of schools as new schools have broken off from other school districts, Waukee,
Liberty in Iowa City.
Liberty, several of those. In fact, some of them that have combined Sioux City as one team,
right.
and Waterloo as one team. So, we're about 50-some teams in the state, so it's pretty much constant at that number.
So you've got 40 girls in the pool this fall. How are you feeling about the year? Well, I know your answers usually. I'll tell you after the first meet.
There you go. But no, the great thing about our sport is that there's a place for everybody. They all can participate. They'll all be entered in the meets. They'll get a chance to race. And we try to emphasize to them that you're not worried about winning so much as beating yourself. You win if you lower your time.
It's you against the wall. It's not you against the lanes around you.
Yep.
Abby Lear, one of your returners.
Yep.
State qualifier.
Yep. State place winner last year, and we've got a couple other kids. She's got a little sister who's actually taller than she is, so we're kind of excited about that.
How many generations of Lears is this that you've coached?
They go back to the first pool that was built here. Grandpa Herb Natzel was my first assistant coach, and of course the Lear family, the Natzel family, Muffy Bartelt, she was a longtime coach in the Y program. Julie, is well known on TV at the library program.
It's just I know you have many other guys. I just need to choose one of your returning state place winners, and I know that talking to me is not your favorite thing to do, but we're always excited for what we're going to see in the pool because you always put together a good product.
Well,
and I know you won't necessarily admit that, but
it's true.
It's
not on me.
You've got some magic in that pool.
It's not on me. The kids work very hard. I hesitate to say this about sport, but we don't play swimming. We practice, we train. So along with sports like cross country and track and sports such as that, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of focus on the part of the kids to get through those long, hard practices that they have.
Yeah, and I'm learning that it's a sport I knew nothing about, and now I find myself as an official and with my son coming up.
I noticed you. So. I just glanced and noticed you around the pool. Slightly noticed.
I love it. It's fun to learn. I'm learning a new sport along with my son.
Yeah,
and we'll see if we can get my daughter in the pool too.
Yeah,
so. Judd Anderson, the girls swimming coach, boys swimming coach here. Maybe we'll talk to you in the winter when the boys season runs around. We're looking forward to seeing how the girls do, and good luck this season.
I appreciate you making this a short one, a quickie. So
no problem. I got to see you at church over the weekend. I don't want you to hit me on our way in the door.
There you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Judd. Judd Anderson, longtime swimming coach here at Muscatine, as we await our next guest, which I believe is, we just heard the band. I believe we have Muscatine band director Jeff Hyde coming in. one of my favorite people to talk to. He probably won't believe that, but yeah, he really is.
Hi.
How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing well.
You know, it's we call this the fall sports kickoff. I call it the fall activities kickoff because there's so much going on.
Yep.
And I've mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I live in the area. I am awoken lovingly by the tunes of the marching band.
I'm so sorry.
I love it in July when you guys start to get ready for the parade. I know parades have been an issue the last couple of years.
We haven't had those.
But you know, we get into the marching band season, which isn't just about Friday nights. You guys do compete throughout the year.
Yes, we do.
How many kids are in the program this year for marching band?
Truthfully, we're down a little bit. We are right over 100. We had been heading up into the 130s, but once COVID hit, we dropped pretty hard.
Sure.
A lot of students stayed home so that they could isolate. So we did have a really good showing last year in the end of students, but with kind of the way things have gone, our program numbers in the band department are still going up, but the marching band has taken a little bit of a hit this year as a result of what went on the last two. So you know, we're coming around. I anticipate that we will be growing a little bit more in the future again, and we'll be heading back in the right direction another year.
And I think one of the reasons for that is we talk about the beautiful new facility being constructed. It's not just a football facility.
Oh, no, it's not.
It is a huge part of your program as well.
Oh, yes.
Not just from the Friday night standpoint, but how many years has the rain caused you guys to not be able to host your invitational, and that's revenue.
It's not even just the invitational. We lost revenue from the invitational, I think, 2 years because of rain. But for us, every year, it's always been... there was a year when we were hosting state marching contest, and we were questioning how we could possibly come in and dry the field in time for the contest. I mean, so we've had different things like that, but for us, this is actually going to be more impactful on a day-to-day basis, because instead of having to question whether or not we're going to have a field that's going to be dry or workable in the morning, we're going to be rehearsing on the stadium field every day now. So once they give us the green light that the stadium is ready, we'll actually be running our rehearsals every day on the stadium. So we aren't just going to be using it for competitions. We're actually going to be rehearsing on that facility every single day as a part of our normal routine,
which is important because having that constant, those are sewn in lines.
Yes.
And you're, whether it's the program that's helping you choreograph your formations and all that, it's all going to be static now.
Exactly.
And to make it easier for your team.
We always will know exactly where the lines are. It'll be just like going to any of our competitions fields, because many of the competition fields are also turf. We were one of the last ones that we were going to that was
Iowa City High and Muscatine were the last two in the large class in Iowa to not have turf.
So here we are. We're going to Brady Street Stadium for state marching, and they've got a turf field. And the numbers aren't quite the same on our fields compared to theirs, because like our painted lines can move a little bit, and that's nothing against our painters. They're amazing and have always been just absolutely incredible about being accurate, but at the same time it can move just because you don't know. You get a little breeze while they're painting those lines, they can be off by a few inches. So you're right, the lines aren't going to move now. We're going to have a facility that is going to be good for us even in a little rain. We don't have to worry about marching through mud. We don't have to worry about damaging instruments because of
setting it down.
Yeah. So there's a lot. Plus, when we can run a rehearsal from the tower of the press box, we're getting up there so that we can see how the formations are actually working with the band, as opposed to, and again, we've been so fortunate. I love my tower that I have over at the practice field. It was made by Phil Fitzgerald years ago, but that I would move that tower over to the stadium if I could, but it is going to be nice to be even higher up. When he was asking me how tall I wanted it made, I was like, how tall can you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this will be nice for us. And then, like I said, too, having that nice facility just to work from on a regular basis is going to be nice. And then bringing these other schools in, they're already just totally excited about coming.
It becomes a destination.
Here. Yes, that's exactly it. We were growing our Muskie Invite pretty considerably each year, but now that it's going to be turf and they're going to come in and it's going to look so nice, I think this is going to really start to. I think we're going to compete a little bit with some of the people in the middle of the state that have been drawing some of the bigger bands.
That's awesome.
So I think we're going to start to see even more bands coming for that.
I'm looking forward to that, and we'll continue success.
Yep.
And then I know you're not alone, and you have Lee Plummer who helps you out.
Yep.
You guys are co-directors,
yep.
and it's a team effort. You mentioned your numbers are down, but you're still over 100.
Yes, we're over 100 in the marching band, but the overall band program, we have close to 150 right now.
That's outstanding.
And that's actually one of the largest numbers we've been at since 1998, I think.
It's fantastic.
So we've been consistently getting larger every single year, and I think now that we have, we've had a few people retired, and we've brought in some very energetic people. I think that they're going to really help us kind of bring the kids into the program too.
Great.
I think there's going to be right at the beginning of something that I think is going to be really great here in the future.
I've got a 5th grade band kid this year, so the next generation is going to be playing in my basement this
cool
this year.
That's cool.
So I was a music education major in college, so I'm very passionate about your program, and I'm happy to see it. So Thanks so much for joining us, Jeff.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Jeff Hyde, Director of Bands, Muscatine here in Muscatine, joining us again. That facility that's being completed, the new football stadium, we call it a football stadium, but it truly is a community stadium, and such a big factor for the band program as well. I'm now joined by one of the boys golf coaches, Scott Schultz, the head coach, unable to join us tonight because the guys are on the course still playing. They're still playing.
I feel like he bailed on me.
So Kevin Lloyd joins us as well. Either way, we're going to have some personality with the golf coaches, so it's always enjoyable to bring you guys on. Kevin, you're working with the golf team. Golf is one of the first starting sports in the state of Iowa. You guys get rolling early in August.
Right.
This is meet 3, isn't it, today?
This is
for the varsity?
Yes, it's meet 3 for the varsity. They've had we had one at home, and then they went to Blue Top and wherever they're at today.
I missed that I was trying to track that down before the broadcast, and I missed it. You mentioned the Muskie Invitational that was this past weekend at Geneva, Muscatine, finishing 6th.
Correct.
Which really some fine teams playing in Southeast Iowa.
Always. Typically, there's a couple boys on some of these teams that are just exceptionally good, that are going to go play college golf somewhere. And I was pretty proud of our team. We had quite a few JV players from a couple years ago that have moved up and stepped up to the varsity. They're doing their thing. They're learning. They're working hard, trying to get better. That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, and we'll mention the varsity roster, at least this year. Doug Custis, senior, Michael Henderson, Braden Hufford, Miles Melendez, Malachi Ellis, Mason Cunningham, and then Nathan Scherer and Gavin McLeod.
Yeah,
kind of round out that roster. And again, that's just the varsity group. There's still other guys playing at the JV level as well.
17 this year.
It's great to see the sport really kind of grow. I mean, I played golf as a kid. I grew into a body type that wasn't going to spend my fall, hitting the links.
But we can do all kinds of body types. It doesn't matter.
No, I know, but it was just I was better served with my hand on the ground than slicing it off the first tee.
Absolutely.
But you see those numbers grow, and these guys are all multi-sport athletes. These aren't specialists who are just focusing on the golf.
No,
but they're outstanding golfers in their own right.
Yeah, I agree. And with the JV team this year, we're looking at 5 beginners. Guys that have never touched a golf club before. Hopefully, they see what happened in the last couple years, and those JV golfers become varsity players, and that's all you can really hope for.
Now, with your background, playing, coaching multiple sports, baseball, softball, football, coaching with these golfers, and I know you're quite the golfer in your own right. What's it like taking that beginner? What's the approach? Is there like an early diagnostic where you're kind of feeling them out, what other sports maybe they've played, or is it really just that foundational golf lesson 101?
Well, typically the guys that I get, they're super young. I mean, they're freshmen that are brand new. So with those guys, I start basically with the grip, try to see what kind of hand-eye coordination they have, and then we'll work with a a couple little balance things with the swing just to get them started. And some of the other guys who are a little bit older that will probably not be on my team next year, that will move up, those guys, we're working on course management, teaching them 3 putts are not okay. We got to lag it up there as close as possible, start figuring out how to hit at that proper distance.
Well, and two, knowing your game. We talked with Judd. He was mentioning, he's like, you don't play swimming. It's you against the wall. You're training. With golfers, you have to know, like, some guys hit it longer. Some guys, are more strategic in where they place it. And you're coaching that aspect of the game as well.
Absolutely. We have all sizes. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a couple of our guys. They're pretty tiny. They're not going to be out there hitting 240 tee shots yet.
Right.
Eventually they're going to get there, but we still got to figure out how to strike the ball in the middle of the club face and, go get it and knock it on the green as close as possible. And
those are the physical tools, but there's also just that mental aspect of it.
Man, now you're opening up the can of worms.
Well, I know you're a smart guy. You're like the psychological aspect of things too.
Some people will say I can become a hothead when it comes to things not going the way I want. But yeah, we're trying to teach them etiquette, trying to teach them course management, and just trying to explain to them that temperament really matters in the game of golf, and if you show up in a bad mood, you're probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, the Happy Gilmore approach of throwing your caddy down.
We'll do a Happy Gilmore swing one time on the golf.
You have to.
One time on the range, and then get it out of the system. We're ready to go.
So you mentioned 17 guys. What are some of the upcoming meets for your JV team that you're
So we have 3 meets next week. First week, we have one the first day of school. We're at Davenport E-Mice going against Assumption. And then on Tuesday, we have another meet. It's at Red Hawk, and I believe we play Davenport Central maybe. And then we have another one on Thursday.
That's one of the other perks of playing golf is there's some beautiful courses around here. You mentioned
Absolutely.
Blue Top Ridge. Muskie's home course of Geneva is such a fantastic place to get to play.
Exciting.
And the Muskie Municipal Golf Course as well.
Which is where my JV team plays.
Is a fantastic course. I mean, you're spoiled really with some of these great courses in eastern Iowa. I know my cousin's actually a golf coach at Salon, and there's so much great places for these kids to grow up playing.
I'm kind of jealous. I mean, I wanted to play some of these courses for free when I was growing up. It would have been kind of nice.
Yeah, Kevin Lloyd, one of our fine golf coaches here. Scott Schultz, the head coach, varsity coach, unable to be here tonight because they're at their meet right now. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
You bet, Joel. Appreciate it.
Thanks. This is the 2021 Muskie Sports Kickoff and Fall Activities Kickoff, brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water, First National Bank of Muscatine, Bear of Muscatine, Affordable Metal Manufacturing, Muscatine Lawn and Power, Muscatine Community Y, Studio 180, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Riots and Rebelle Salon, Bickford Assisted Living and Memory Care, Eastern Iowa Power Washers, all proud supporters here of Muscatine athletics and activities. Again, this is the Booster Club night, so you can come out here and still support the Muskie Booster Club. It's kind of the kickoff to the fundraising efforts again. Last year, unable to do some of the typical fundraising that the Muskie Booster Club does. No cake auction due to the COVID restrictions, and so we're trying to reboot the Booster Club. Go follow Muscatine Muskie Boosters on social media, and you can see the different tiers and the different perks from the different tiers that we're able to do, as I am now joined by Molly Leroux, the Muscatine football cheerleading coach.
Hello.
It's a busy night for you.
It is, yeah. I almost didn't make it over here.
Lots of hustle and bustle. Your girls were introduced earlier. Your team was introduced here a little bit earlier tonight. It's a lot of folks see all the work that the athletes are doing. Cheerleading is just as much of a sport as what these other athletes are doing. How's your season going? How do you guys get started? When do you guys start?
We had our tryouts back in April, so we started practices in May. The season's going really well so far. Because of COVID last year, we kind of got set back. Sure. We couldn't work on stunts much, so we've been really focusing on rebuilding this year. That's kind of our theme for the season, is just rebuilding, starting from the ground up and getting all of our skills.
How many people in your program this year?
We have 28, I believe.
And how many of those will on a Friday night? Are they all there on Friday nights?
Yes.
Then?
Yep. So we have 11 on JV and 17 on varsity.
And so do the JV cheerleaders, do they do like the freshman games and stuff, or is it just
they cheer for the sophomore football game?
Okay. And do you then have competitions later on in the year, or is that?
We attend a state competition. It's usually the first weekend in November, and our varsity squad will go there and compete. So we learn a routine specific for that competition.
And how do you pick that routine every year? Is that you hire a choreographer who kind of comes and does it, or is it
No, usually the coaches choreograph it.
That's really cool. You know, we've talked about the running theme of the night is the new facility. You know,
yes.
The new field turf going in, the new bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks may not realize it's been completely torn down. And the bleachers have been rebuilt. And the new track going in here soon. We're hoping that's going in the next couple of days. You know, it's going to be a whole new home for your team as well.
Yeah. We've had morning practices, and every day we get to see how much progress has been made with the stadium. And, they took everything down, and everything's new.
And is this year 3 for you?
Mm-hmm.
Year 3 at Molly Leroux, the head cheerleading coach here. Now, how many of the girls who do football will then transition into your winter programs?
It kind of depends year to year. A lot of them as seniors, if they don't do it as like an underclassman, they usually do it their senior year because it gives them one last chance to cheer before they graduate. But last year, majority of our freshmen and sophomores did winter season. So I think this year we'll have an even bigger turnout and bigger teams as well.
Well, we're excited to finally fill the stands with people. We're going to have more people to cheer to. I know that's
yes, we're excited.
Hollering to an empty stadium or a limited capacity stadium, not the easiest thing for you all to do. And so we're excited to see everything get back to as close to normal as we possibly
so are
can.
we. We're excited for game day.
Yeah, but hopefully everything, fingers crossed, stays manageable, and we're all able to enjoy those game days and Friday nights because they're so important to those of us who've had that chance to experience. Molly Leroux, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Molly Leroux, the head cheerleading coach here at Muscatine. We're going to take a quick break. We've got a volleyball match actually going on behind us. Actually, no, our next guest is here. I misinterpreted my hand signals. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna turn and watch a little bit here, and then we'll introduce Kara Russell, our volleyball coach. And we are back, finally coordinated here. I'm Joel Kraushaar here on the Discover Muscatine Sports Network. And we're joined here now by Kara Russell, the volleyball coach. Is it year 2?
Yep,
year two as the head volleyball coach here. And now, Coach, we haven't had a chance to really talk because we didn't do this last year.
Right.
You know, your program, you take over for Tim Martin. You know, there were some real growth opportunities in the program, and you came to Muscatine, you know, after an outstanding playing career at Iowa Central Community College and Clark College in Dubuque. Now, I did some research. Coach Horn at Iowa Central Community College, was that your coach?
That was not. She actually took place the year after I left.
Okay, I know Coach Horn a little bit through previous careers, but who were some of those coaches, because you're young in your coaching career, who were some of the coaches you played for that kind of steered you in this direction to getting into the coaching profession?
Well, definitely my high school, because we were a really good volleyball team my junior and senior year. We actually went to state and made it to the finals and got second.
And that was in Illinois, right?
That was Illinois, yep, Richmond Burton High School.
And so you have that outstanding high school experience.
Yep.
What are some of those experiences that you had that you're trying to build that culture here to grow to that level here?
I played club since I was in 8th grade, and just being a part of a team is really what got me here. I wanted to produce that positive environment and friendships and family feeling for the team that I coach too. So I would say just kind of the background I got from being in club, and also my best friends from high school, being able to play with them, and my twin sister. Just those kind of relationships and memories I get to look back on.
As you progress into this 2021 season, what are some things you're seeing early on that you're encouraged about, and what are some things we can keep our eye on as the season kicks off here?
I'm excited for some of the girls that are coming back from varsity. I had a couple young girls get moved up last year that are here again this year, and you can just see the growth that they've had, and even just being sophomores and just taking over the team with the newer sophomores we have this year, but the sophomores that are now juniors this year, just seeing the growth that they've had since I've been working with them and since their off season with club. I'm super excited to get to the opportunity to work with them again and see how much more they grow. But we did lose a lot of seniors last year, but I'm super excited to see kind of where these girls will take that, losing those girls and seeing who's going to step up and play.
Who are some of those seniors that we should kind of keep our eye on?
Seniors now?
Yeah.
We have Meadow Freers, Bree Seaman, Kaylin Bynum, Ashlyn McGinnis, and I think I'm missing one.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But they were on JV last year, but a lot of them have stepped up to the point where I can see them on varsity this year, so I'm super excited to work with them.
Now, you mentioned that playing club volleyball, growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I know Muscatine has a pretty solid club program. Is that something you're involved with? I know in some of the other sports, the head varsity coach tries to stay involved with those clubs as well. Or is that something you're able to keep your finger on the pulse of a little bit?
With COVID this year, it was kind of tough because they weren't able to do tournaments and anything like that. So it was really hard to kind of be a part of that and help coordinate it when really it was just kind of more of an open gym. So I did a lot of planning for summer for our upcoming season, which I didn't get a chance to do last year. So I was pretty busy working on that. So I did not get really a good chance to work with the Power, but I plan on working with them more this year, hoping that COVID doesn't interrupt anything.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I know that's also something that you involved in your educational role too as a counselor here in the school district. So we're all fingers crossed, hoping that we can avoid some of the craziness that we've had the last few years.
For sure.
Head volleyball coach Kara Russell joining us. I'll let you get back to your team. I know your girls are getting ready to go out and play on the scrimmage. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Kara Russell, our volleyball coach here at Muscatine. And that is going to wrap up our interview portion of our 2021 Muscatine activities program. And now we have a surprise guest.
Hold on, are we surprising?
No, you're it. I see you.
Surprise! Oh! I'm the cherry on top.
Our Booster Club president. Is that still the title?
Sure.
Booster Club
because
president?
we couldn't have votes during COVID. We couldn't have meetings.
Miss Kaufman-Randall, thank you so much for joining us.
I came because I brought my square so that you could sign up for your membership.
I knew you were going to put me on the spot about that. And I will, believe me. We're just not going to do it on the air right now. But the Booster Club memberships, the tiers are back, and that's exciting because there's lots of
tiers are back, but they're so much cooler.
Explain.
They're so much Well, first of all, let's talk about the fact that the boosters have come into technology. We have the square now at concessions.
So that's important because I know cash is not really
always everybody's friend right now.
Yeah.
Yep, it's okay. Well, I have to get more. So I've discovered that the majority of the booster people who are helping me have iPhones. So I have to get more converters because they come with just a little plug.
That's a real problem, I guess. The one I wouldn't have thought of.
Oh my gosh, I totally didn't think of that.
So now we do. So what that is that gives you now the ability you can purchase concessions using a debit card.
Yes, as long as the person there has the app, which there's always going to be a booster person because we have volunteers this year and I need more.
And most importantly, though, there's multiple ways for people to contribute, and there's some benefits from how you contribute to the Booster Club this year.
Super fun. Other not just Square, you can PayPal us or Venmo us at concessions now too.
That's exciting.
I know.
We did Venmo at a garage sale a couple weeks ago.
Isn't that exciting?
So
Stephanie Zillig was up there tonight and she's like, "Oh, I got this, Eric." And she Venmo'd me. She didn't even have her purse with her. It was great.
It works out so well.
I know. So membership tiers are back. Let's get back to that.
Yes.
You can do it completely online. If you find MHS Boosters on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, the post is out there, and there's the little sheet and tells you what the tiers are, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the link is actually a Google form that is open to anyone. You don't have to have Gmail or anything. It's an open form. You go through, you put in your name. If your company does matching, there's a section for company, things like that. We're a 501c3, so all you need to do is let me know, and we'll give you our federal ID number, and it's a donation and a tax deduction. And you fill out the Google form. You select how you want to pay. You can then go right to Venmo, go right to PayPal and pay, or you can, have a check, or you can pay us at concessions. We'll have a table at every home football game. I haven't gotten commitments from enough volunteers yet, so if you'd like to use this, please volunteer at the volleyball games and the indoor concessions. Sure. I just don't have the volunteers for that yet. So what do the tiers get you?
That's what I want to know.
Do you know yet? Because I taught you earlier.
Yeah, a little bit. I know a little bit.
A little bit. So you can just donate. You can be an anonymous donor. You don't have to provide your name. You don't have to provide any of that. You can still be an anonymous donor. You can be a $25 supporting donor. You get one event pass, so you get into free to an event, whether it be football, whether it be our volleyball girls. Right. So one event. It's a tax deduction. You'll have your name listed as a Muskie Booster member, and you get a window cling. Nice. We're going to have window clings this year. $50 purple and gold, 2 event passes. Again, still tax deduction, name listed, window cling.
And those event passes you're talking about, these are just the one-time.
These are the one-times. Yep, this is an event.
Right.
Okay, but if you're the guy who goes to all the stuff.
I am. I'm always here.
All the stuff, you should keep listening to the next tiers. $100 Century, 4 event passes.
Wow.
So you can get into 4 events. Now, these have to be non-regional, non-TNT, non-state, because we don't actually keep any of the funds. The school doesn't keep any of the funds for those. Yep. So people just need to be really clear. It's not going to get you into regionals. It's not going to get you into state. When the awesome Muskies go to state this year, it's not going to get you in there. $200 gets you a season pass. So really clear what a season means, because we had some questions earlier. Baseball, right? Baseball plays like 500 games, right? So it's for freshmen, sophomore, JV, and varsity. That is a season. That is a sport. Okay, so your ticket will actually say your name and what sport you're going to for the season.
So you can select the sport you want it to be for.
Yeah, it can be for girls basketball, and you get into every game.
Sure.
And they have to be home games, obviously.
Absolutely.
$300 gets you 2 of those. So if you want to be nice and pay for your spouse, you can. Or, this is super fun. This is what I told my husband I'm getting. Because he said he wasn't donating, so I was just doing it, right? So it comes with 2 season passes. I was like, that's fine. I got basketball and soccer. You're paying for yourself every time we show up.
Okay, so
I got 2 tickets. That's what I'm doing.
You can bring a friend.
No, it's just me. I get 2 seasons of passes.
Got it.
I get soccer. I get basketball.
There you go.
I'm golden.
Nice.
Right? $500 though. $500 is all season. You get 1, and it's all seasons. It's baseball. It's softball. It's basketball. It's
great.
Golf. It's everything.
But there's more than just the season passes.
And you get.
I feel like Ron Popeil, but wait, there's more.
Wait, but there's more. It's a good thing you reminded me, though, because I'm all about the season passes. You get a previously worn Muskie jersey. How cool is that? Tom has said no wrestling singlets, no swimsuits.
Makes sense.
Right? Yeah. And he can't guarantee a number. If it's your old football jersey, if we can find it, we would love to.
I don't think my old football jersey is in the building anymore.
Well, but even your number, people are really attached to those numbers. We can't guarantee it, but we will do our best. The Muskie flag. Did you see the Muskie flag earlier?
I haven't seen it.
It took up the whole table. It was awesome. It was an incredible flag.
You should put that on your social media so we all can see it.
I took a picture of it tonight, actually. This is the first time I had it all laid out.
Great.
Jordan Paul was actually selling them. She's super excited to be on social media, let me tell you. But I took a picture.
Well, and she took that fantastic picture of Tom Bruner Field this summer.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Shot. That was gorgeous. So you get the flag, you get your name listed, and you get the window cling. But that season pass, that all seasons pass is incredible. But the $500 also, so it gets all of that. The $300 gets the 2 seasons. You get the jersey with the $300 tax deduction, name listed, window cling. So
great.
It's exciting. We've already sold them. We're super excited. Do you want to know how many we sold today?
Sure.
7.
7. Okay, I was gonna say 7. I was gonna set an over under.
7. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You beat me to it.
I didn't let you Prices Right, man. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
So, yeah, so 7. But honestly, we needed it. COVID hit us super hard.
It was a big deal. Last year, it wasn't just the Booster Club. Any nonprofit.
Any nonprofit. It was devastating. No cake auction. Who was depressed that there was no cake auction, first of all, because that's like my favorite thing of the year. I love taking home some super incredible cupcakes. So no cake auction. And you guys need to understand, the year before, that was $29,000 of our budget.
Right.
$29,000. The only 2 fundraisers that previously, before this, that the boosters did was concession stands and cake auction. That was it.
Right.
And, we gave $70,000 the year before. Last year, inventory prices went up, right? Because everybody was impacted by COVID.
Right.
So all of our candy, all of our pop, all of our pizza, everything went up. So our cost was more. We couldn't have people in the concession or in the stands. So, and there was angst. There was a lot of angst with COVID. So people weren't eating here as much anyway, even if we had it.
Well, and halfway through the season, we couldn't even have that many people.
And then
we only had 2 tickets per athlete.
Yes. And so, football season, you think about that, even though it was outside and it was open. I mean,
every other row.
The angst, like people weren't really eating as much. And so, we actually only ended up giving, I think it was, most of it was stuff we had agreed to the year before. Right. We gave no budget last year. We said, everybody, it's just no. Because we weren't sure what it was going to look like. Well,
and in a typical year, my experience is people have told me it's between $75,000 and $100,000 is the typical operating budget of the Booster Club.
So the year before, 2019, it was 70,000. It was like 71 something. I'd have to go back and look at the treasurer's report, but it was like 71 something. And last year, there was just the tail end of stuff that we paid for, like baseball from the summer, things like that. That had already been committed to. It was about $15,000. That's all we could do.
And I think that folks need to realize that this is not just for our athletics program.
Absolutely not.
This is the band. This is the show choir.
Show choir has been devastated. I mean, they couldn't have their event because of COVID. But get this. They couldn't have it the year before because of the snowstorm.
Right, I know.
So they've gone more years than anyone without having anything. So, show choir, band, Spanish club, Juntos, the Juntos group. They always help us a ton in concessions. Student council. We just try and support the students. We all know the data shows it, right? Active students, more successful students. They stay more involved. They stay more engaged. And so our goal is just to support as many kids as possible. You could be supporting one kid 5 times, right? You could be supporting one kid once. But activities make a difference. And whatever we can do to help support the activities directors. I mean, a lot of times these are teachers who are just doing a little extra, right?
Well, or it's something that they're equally as passionate about as the students, We see,
but they're not getting paid to do it. Right? So if we can make them not have to also do a fundraiser by supporting and giving them some money, that's what we do. And we couldn't do any of it. It was,
and you grew up here. I grew up here. We benefited from it growing up, and I don't think we always realized and appreciated that we didn't get told no that often. We got new uniforms for baseball every year. We got new uniforms for football every other year.
Think about it: $71,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Think about that by our student population, right? Think about how much that is per kid.
Right.
As parents, think about how much we would be paying if there weren't if there wasn't that help.
And I know sometimes there's fundraising fatigue. We all see
Absolutely.
And each individual activity, also a lot of them have their own booster club. But that's because the Muskie Booster Club that we're talking about tonight, that's for your big kind of physical plants type stuff. That's for your things like your new footballs, your new
uniforms, your new helmets,
your sound shell for the choir program.
Yes,
that's where the booster club comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other smaller stuff, that's where the local booster clubs, the football boosters, the band boosters, the nuts,
the bands,
and all that stuff.
Let's all talk about how good the band boosters are.
And we do need to run. We almost are at the end of our time, so we got to be a little.
So
bit.
I got to be quiet. So did you want to do the square right now?
Not right now, but let's go over those tiers again.
500.
There's 5 tiers. So it starts at the highest level is 500.
Highest level is 500. You're a major booster. 300 super booster, 200 muskie booster, 100 century booster, 50 purple and gold, 25 supporting.
And every little bit happens. So if you're at a game and you've got an extra couple bucks in your pocket, throw it the Booster Club's way, and they'll
Joel
take
didn't
that.
have time to eat tonight. He needed some drinks. He threw me a 20. It happened. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to commit to these memberships. Honestly, any little bit helps. Anything you would have given at the cake auction, it's still this year, right? It's still within your tax deduction year. The other big thing is, corporate matching.
Sure.
That's huge.
Yep.
And we do have, if you have a company and you just want to do a company name and you want to maybe give the pass for what you donate, just identify the employee's name you end up giving it to if it's a drawing or whatever. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's a great opportunity for us all to get out and support. Again, we missed out on some opportunities last year, trying to make up for it this year. Most importantly, just let's invest in the kids that are investing in themselves and investing back into our community. They're the ones who...
They're our future leaders.
Yeah, they're the ones who are
They're the future Megan and Jules.
Well, I hope that they're a little bit more accomplished than me, at least on that.
Well, hopefully they, get out and spread their wings. But you know what? I'm okay. I'm proud to be a Muscatine member. I'm proud to have always been local. I'm proud to be the president of the Booster Club. It's such an honor to be able to serve the kids. And
so if this piqued your interest, go find Muscatine Booster Club on social media. All that detailed information is there, and there are links to go ahead and secure that donation through those social media channels. Or find us
at a home game.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Megan. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much. Thanks for asking.
And thank you guys for staying with us throughout the fall sports activities kickoff. That's going to do it for us tonight here at the 2021 program. Again, big thank you to Muscatine Power and Water, First National Bank of Muscatine, Bear of Muscatine, Affordable Metal Manufacturing, Muscatine Lawn and Power, Muscatine Community Wise, Studio 180, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Riots and Rebelle Salon, Bickford Assisting Living and Memory Care, Eastern Iowa Power Washers, and one last thing.
Can I give one shout out to John at Guy in a Grill? He always donates our propane for our grills.
That's
he
awesome.
fit me in today, filled up our propane, made sure the grill was running, walked the grill team through how to get the grill moving. So, John, thank you so much for always supporting us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
And thank you guys. Have a great night. And we'll be back with you next Friday night at Linn-Mar High School for the first football game of the season. Myself and Ben Nitzel will be again with you this year, so we're looking forward to it. Thank you and good night.